The Great Giggleberry Pie Disaster. Once upon a time in the whimsical town of Giggleville, there lived a boy named Bobby who loved to bake pies. Bobby's pies were famous all over town for their delicious flavors and perfect crusts, but there was one pie Bobby had never made. The legendary Giggleberry Pie. It was said that anyone who ate a slice would laugh uncontrollably for an entire day. One sunny morning, Bobby decided it was time to make the Giggleberry Pie. He gathered all the ingredients, giggleberries, which looked like tiny, colorful bubbles, sugar, flour, and a pinch of giggle dust. He mixed everything together in a giant bowl, whistling a happy tune as Bobby rolled out the dough. His dog, Mr. Fluff, watched curiously. Mr. Fluff was a fluffy, white dog with a nose for trouble. He sniffed at the giggleberries and let out a sneeze, which sent a puff of giggle dust into the air. Bobby didn't notice, but he giggled a bit as he placed the pie in the oven. Soon, the whole house smelled of sweet giggleberries. Bobby could hardly wait. He opened the oven, and out came the most beautiful pie he had ever seen. It shimmered and sparkled, and the giggleberries seemed to dance on top. Just as Bobby was about to take a bite, there was a loud knock at the door. It was his friend Sally, who loved to eat Bobby's pies almost as much as he loved to bake them.
"Is that a Giggleberry pie?"
she asked, eyes wide with excitement.
It sure is.
Bobby replied, cutting a big slice for Sally and another for himself. They both took a bite at the same time. Suddenly, they started giggling. Then they started laughing, and then they couldn't stop. The giggleberries worked their magic, and soon Bobby and Sally were rolling on the floor, holding their sides and laughing like never before. Mr. Fluff, seeing all the laughter, decided he wanted a taste too. He jumped up and grabbed a piece of pie from the table. As soon as he ate it, he began to bark in a funny way. That sounded like he was laughing too. This made Bobby and Sally laugh even harder. The laughter was so loud that it echoed through the streets of Giggleville. Curious neighbors peeked out their windows, and soon the whole town was gathered outside Bobby's house, wondering what was so funny. Bobby and Sally, still laughing, managed to bring the pie outside. They offered slices to everyone, and soon the entire town of Giggleville was caught in a wave of uncontrollable laughter. Even the mayor, a usually serious man, was giggling like a schoolboy. The laughter lasted all day long. People laughed as they worked, laughed as they played, and even laughed as they tried to go to bed. It was the happiest day Giggleville had ever seen. The next morning, as the giggleberry effects wore off, Bobby and the townspeople felt tired, but incredibly happy. They thanked Bobby for bringing so much joy to the town, and decided that Giggleberry Pie should be a special treat for celebrations. From that day on, whenever Giggleville needed a little extra cheer, Bobby would bake his famous Giggleberry Pie, and the town would erupt in laughter once more.